Today I'm announcing our plan to gradually, cautiously, and methodically reopen businesses and public services that have been forced to close due to the COVID-19 pandemic, while at the same time keeping many of the rules and restrictions around physical distancing, travel, and large gatherings in effect. It's a plan that has been developed in close consultation with Saskatchewan's Chief Medical Health Officer, Dr. Shahab, and it's a plan that will be conducted in phases. And we will carefully monitor transmission and other factors during each of those phases, and we will adjust the plan if required. As we move through this reopening process, we will continue testing and continue contact tracing, and we will keep a very close eye on the numbers, while always remembering that these are not just numbers. They are people, and they are Saskatchewan people. At the same time, the economy is also not just numbers. It's not just some abstract concept. The economy is the job that allows you to support yourself and your family. And today, that job may be gone. The economy is the small business that you spent your life and your life savings building. And today, that business may not be open. They are also Saskatchewan people. So we have to find the right path. We have to find the middle ground that continues to keep our case numbers low and keep Saskatchewan people safe, while at the same time allowing for businesses to reopen and Saskatchewan people to get back to work. So with that goal in mind, here's our plan. Over the next several weeks, restrictions will be gradually lifted, adding more types of businesses to the allowable businesses list, meaning that they can reopen if they choose. All businesses and public venues will be required to continue following good physical distancing and cleanliness practices to protect both their employees as well as their customers. And customers will be expected to follow the physical distancing rules, and most importantly, to stay home if you are feeling unwell at all. All of the safe physical distancing rules and restrictions that businesses will be required to follow have been compiled in one comprehensive document called the Reopen Saskatchewan Plan. And this document can be found on the province's COVID-19 website. And it's also provided as part of the media package here today. These restrictions will be lifted in phases, and those phases and the businesses included in each of those phases are also outlined in that Reopen Saskatchewan Plan on the government website and in the media package. As always, if anyone has any questions, you can call our business response team support line at 1-844-800-8688. So phase one will begin on Monday, May the 4th. And on that date, medical services such as dentists, optometrists, opticians, chiropractors, physical therapists, and occupational therapists will be allowed to open. All medical service providers will be required to take precautionary measures, such as the use of gloves and face masks when physical distancing may not be possible. And because of this, we recognize that it is possible that some of these providers may not be immediately able to deliver all of the services that they normally would. As Dr. Shahab said the other day, with the weather warming up, and we are seeing that, people are wanting to spend more time outdoors. And that's a good thing, as long as it's done safely. So as part of phase one, some outdoor activities will also be allowed to open, with restrictions over the course of the next number of weeks. For example, parks will be open for boating and fishing on May the 4th, while overnight camping can begin on June the 1st. Camping areas will currently be operating at 50% capacity so that every other camping spot will be able to be empty. And until further notice, Saskatchewan's parks will be restricted for overnight camping to Saskatchewan residents only. The online reservation system for our provincial parks will open on May the 4th. Golf courses can open on May the 15th, just in time for the May long weekend. Golf courses and golfers will be required to follow a number of physical distancing rules, such as one person on a golf cart and elevated cups in the hole so that you don't actually put your ball into the hole and have to place your hand in the hole to retrieve the ball. Phase two of our plan will begin on Tuesday, May the 19th, just after the May long weekend. In phase two, Currently restricted retail stores and some of the personal services will be allowed to open. Retail stores including clothing stores, shoe stores, flower shops, sporting goods stores, and electronic stores. Personal services allowed in Phase 2 will include hairdressers and barber shops, acupuncturists, acupressurists, and massage therapists. Again, all of these businesses will have to follow practices to protect their employees and to protect their customers. And those guidelines, again, are available in the comprehensive document that is provided on the government website. At this date, we do not have dates set for any subsequent phases. Those dates will be decided in the weeks ahead after careful monitoring and the impact of these first two phases. Phase 3 will see restaurants and bars reopen at 50% capacity. Other personal services that may not have been included in Phase 1 or 2 will be allowed to open in Phase 3. Phase 4 will see recreation and entertainment facilities begin to reopen. Those would include facilities such as gyms, swimming pools, theaters, casinos, and museums. And finally, Phase 5 would be the consideration of lifting some of the broader and the longer-term restrictions that are in place, but that would be considered many weeks down the road. Now, I know that some will be concerned that this is far too soon, that reopening businesses in the coming weeks could increase the spread of COVID-19. And I think it's important for us to remember that over the last number of weeks, there has been many retail stores in Saskatchewan that have remained open. Grocery stores, for example, hardware stores, pharmacies, banks, and liquor stores have all been allowed to be open, and these businesses, we have observed, have implemented new practices, limiting the number of customers in their stores, for example, ensuring physical distancing for the safety of employees and their customers, increased their disinfecting of all surfaces, and as a result, we have not seen major outbreaks that have started at Saskatchewan businesses. We have flattened the curve, even as these businesses have remained open over the course of the last number of months. This gives us confidence that Saskatchewan business can reopen and keep their customers and their employees safe by maintaining similar practices across the sector. That said, we will carefully monitor the case numbers each and every day, and we will adjust our plan accordingly if required. So let me be clear that many of the physical distancing restrictions and rules are going to remain in place. Restrictions designed to prevent some of the highest risk activities. And as we have said before, we know that travel was the source of many of the early cases of COVID-19 in Saskatchewan, and we continue to strongly discourage all non-essential interprovincial and international travel. And anyone who does return to Saskatchewan from any other country, including the United States, must self-isolate for 2 weeks. We know that some of the largest outbreaks in Saskatchewan were also due to large social gatherings like curling bonspiels or snowmobile rallies. The restrictions on public gatherings remains in place at this time. Other than allowable businesses, public gatherings remain limited to no more than 10 people. And we know that the largest risk and the deadliest outbreaks in our nation have occurred in our seniors' long-term care homes. So all current rules and restrictions for long-term care facilities will remain in place for the foreseeable future, and this is to keep our family members in those very facilities safe. By proceeding with caution, by maintaining restrictions in those most high-risk areas and activities, and by continuing with good physical distancing and cleanliness practices, I believe that Saskatchewan can find the right path. I believe we can carefully and cautiously begin to reopen our province while still protecting Saskatchewan residents from the spread of COVID-19.